All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is May 25th, 2026. Got off work an hour early, so that was kind of nice. It was a slow night at work. Worked my normal shelves, did some backstock. Just kind of a chill night at work. Got 7 hours in, so that I think that's pretty good. But I mean, I already put in overtime last week. I put in overtime quite a bit, As far as updates, not really much to say, Internet's working good again, knock on wood, so I should be able to put episodes out more often, like how I usually do. That's about it for updates. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, it helps pay for pens, papers, notebooks, flash drives. Helps pay for me to get a new car. And if you do donate, I will send you a bumper sticker. These things are durable as fuck. My wife has one on a coffee mug, and it's been washed 1,000 times. It's still holding up. And you will also get a Conspiracy Corner bookmark, which I will sign. Who knows? One day I may be famous, Let's get on with the show. So no intro music. Sammy's asleep right now. She's been getting free newspapers from where she works. She works at Casey's, a gas station, you guys know. And I guess she's been getting free newspapers, but I've seen this. This is a current issue of Herald Leader. I don't do this often unless there's something that catches my eye. So, Fayette County election results delayed by scanner issues. So, I covered... Go check out the playlist that I have on YouTube. It's Massie versus Galrain. I think there's 2 episodes on there. This probably won't be on that playlist. But anyways, there's 2 episodes on there. You might want to go check those episodes out. So, I have always said I'm a big student of Sam Tripoli. That's like my favorite podcast to listen to. I agree with him, honestly, on like I'd say about 97% of what he says. Every now and then I will disagree with him on something. And it's like, honestly, just like listening to him, I was like, oh, this dude agrees with a lot of what I say, He always said, like, vote locally. The only way that we're going to beat the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them, I just call them the elites, the Lites. The only way we're going to beat them is, like, local politics on a local level. Local politics, local voting, local, protest, everything. Think locally rather than globally, And I used to kind of agree with that, but I think that even locally has been infiltrated and rigged. So I covered the whole Massie Galrain thing, and I can't prove it, but there's a lot of anomalies with this last election with Massie and Galrain. I mentioned it a couple episodes back because I've been covering it because I was pro Massie. Just go check out the playlist. I've been covering it for a couple episodes. And there is some anomalies. Now, there's a part of me, though, that like during every election, there's always somebody saying, oh, it was rigged. Oh, it was, it was rigged, and the Democrats do it and the Republicans do it. Like, both sides do it. Everyone does it when their guy loses. So I take it with a grain of salt. But I can't help but look at this headline and wonder, what the fuck's going on? Are they rigging local elections? You know, because to me that was pretty local. The Massie versus Gowrain thing was pretty local. I mean, this is Kentucky, bumfuck Egypt, a Senate seat like this isn't President of the United States. So I mean, it's making me wonder, are they rigging local shit? So this is on the mainstream newspaper. Let's get into it. Because when I seen this article, I went, I'm going to have to cover that. So Fayette County election results delayed by scanner issues. Which is interesting, because I've always been the one to say, well, we need to do paper ballots. But if this is scanner issues, is this paper ballots that they're having issues with now? I mean, not that paper ballots are foolproof, but they're more reliable than online ballots or digital ballots. You see what I'm saying? It's harder to rig when there's a paper trail. It was just after 9 p.m. when election results from Fayette County hit the Kentucky Secretary of State's website, more than 3 hours after polls closed in the county. Several races, including the 6th Congressional District, a few state House races, and all local offices were waiting on those results to be able to declare a winner. The wait time frustrated several election watchers. Well, yeah, that makes you paranoid, dude. I'll never forget, dude. And this is why I have, like, paranoia of elections getting rigged and stolen. I seen it happen with Al Gore and George Bush Jr. Al Gore won the presidency. Al Gore was supposed to be president. That election was rigged. I seen it happen. Like, go look at the 1,000 Mules documentary. I'm sorry, but Biden did not win against Trump. Sorry, he just didn't. And I'm not a Trump tard. I'm not a Q tard. I'm not a Republican over here. That was a rigged election. They had to shut down voting booths. I'll never forget, because I listened live, and in the middle of the election, they're like, Georgia's shutting down voting booths because there's a toilet that overflowed. And by the way, this was like all the way across the building, and they shut it down. Nothing fishy there. And then Fox News, all the major news sources all shut off and said, well, we'll give you the results tomorrow. And my buddy came up to me and he's like, Georgia just shut down the polling shit. And I said, yeah, I know, they're rigging it. And he went, what? This was this Q-tard that I work with. I said, yeah, they're rigging it. And then he said, now everything's cut off. We're not going to get the results tonight. I said, yeah, they're rigging it. What part of this do you not understand? They are rigging it. I knew as soon as I heard the Georgia shit was shut down, because I was listening live. And then when all the news sites just shut off in the middle of an election and was like, yeah, we're not going to find out till tomorrow. Everyone go to bed. I went, oh, they're rigging this shit. It's not rocket science, dude. All of Kentucky is waiting on Fayette County, Lexington to report literally any votes. Louisville public media reporter Joe Sonka wrote on Blue Sky at 8:56 p.m., they are usually one of the first counties to report totals. Sounds like there's some shenanigans going on. Fayette County Clerk Susan Lamb told the Herald Leader the May 19th primary presented several challenges for her office. The delay came from 3 precincts that had technical difficulties closing down the ballot scanning machines, she said. So, this connects with the primary. Gowrain versus Massie, which they're already saying that there was some shadiness going on there. And she's literally saying, like, they've had technical difficulties. Now, we already know that Galrain was receiving... By the way, that last name is so fucking redonkulous. Galrain. I mean, dude, that sounds like a Zelda villain. If my last name was Galrain, like, that's like Ganondorf or Gandalf or fucking... What are we talking here? Like, that literally sounds like a villain from Zelda. My name is Lord Galrain, you know? What are we talking about, dude? You sound like a villain out of a medieval film. There's already, like, proof that he was receiving, like, millions from IPAC, APAC, whatever you want to say. I don't know why people call it APAC. It's AIPEC. I call it IPAC. I don't know. I've studied English, and I used to be a journalist. I mean, that's spelt IPAC. Or AIPAC. But we know that, like, I would not put it past Israel to rig elections, even local elections. Like, we already know that, like, we're Israel's bitch, man. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say this on this channel, that we are Israel's bitch. It's Master Blaster. They are Master, we are Blaster. You know? I would not put it... I mean, these people are making explosive pagers. You don't think that they would rig an election. Epstein was a Mossad agent. Like, come on, people. Israel is not the good guys, you know? So we probably could have reported an hour earlier, had we not had that delay, she said. When the polls close and the voters have cast their ballots, election officers at each site have to shut down the scanning machines, print a tally tape with the voting results of that specific precinct to hang up on site, and then extract a V drive. Have no fucking clue what a V drive is. Look, man, I'm getting better. I'm a little more tech savvy, but I'm always learning. I used to, like, literally do just audio only podcasts, and I knew how to, like, edit the videos and do all that shit. I have to literally relearn, because apparently the program that I was using is out of date and not sufficient enough, so now I have to, like, completely learn how to do all that shit again. It's kind of retarded. It's prohibiting me on my channel, and then I gotta go up to my wife and go, can you help me? You know? It's like, if it's not broke, don't fucking fix it, you know? But I have no clue what the fuck a V drive is. So if you know what a V drive is, hit me up in the comments below, because I'm curious, you know? Is this the same thing as a flash drive? What are we talking, man? Out of the scanners to deliver to the clerk's office, the V drive has all of the results from the ballots cast into that scanner. The scanners are left at the polling location to be picked up later. So, sounds like, yeah, like kind of like a flash drive, you know, V drive. Voting drive, V, voting, okay. Workers at two separate precincts had technical difficulties with the scanners as they were trying to shut them down. Were they hacked? You know? By the way, that was one issue that we had, like, with, if you look at 1,000 Mules and you look at that stolen election with Biden and Trump, it was Dominion voting machines. I'm very curious, what fucking voting machines are these motherfuckers using? Are they Dominion? Because they even proved that Dominion voting machines are literally, like, fucked. They're jacked. Like, yeah, they're just fucked. I've already talked about it. This was years ago. So, I mean, you'd have to go back and look at those older episodes, but we've already talked about how Dominion voting machines are sketchy as fuck. Working at two separate precincts, they had technical difficulties with scanners as they were trying to shut them down. Okay, we just read that. A third precinct closed down its polling location and brought equipment back to the clerk's office as usual. But election staff discovered these poll workers had not properly shut down the scanning machine and did not have the V drive with them. Shady as fuck. That sounds shady as fuck. This is like voting shit. This is supposed to be like people watching people like fucking hawks, cameras. Yeah. This isn't a game, people. Like, you shouldn't be counting votes and dealing with voting machines and fucking with V drives. And you're just some shady ass like motherfucker smoking weed on the clock and going out and having shots in your car and just... This isn't a game, dude. This is like the constitutional republic we're talking about. Votes. You know? The Constitution. Those workers had to go the back to the polling location. That's horrible writing on your part, Adrian Paul Bryant. So let's see. 3A. Let's see what else the written word has to offer. So, Lexington's rent went from... This was election. Wrong one. County... Said 3A. Give me just a second. Sorry about that. So, the building was locked to staff. So staff had to wait for property owners to come back to the building, unlock it, and let election staff in to shut down the scanning machine. And then they had to return the clerk's office with the V drive in hand. Quote, "It's a really well-oiled machine," Lamb said. Her team's election operations. But what happens that I can't control is when we have an oopsie with a poll worker. Really? This is like written in here. What happens is when we have an oopsie with a poll worker. What the county clerk does to make election day happen. By the way, dude, if I was ever like working for one of these like voting booths or like voting stations, whatever, what are they even called? Voting, you know, the polls. If I ever worked at the polls and I was like the boss, oh my God, they would literally probably call me Adolf Hitler. Like, they would call me the Nazi. I would be so fucking strict, watching like a hawk. I would be like a jailer running these voting poll stations and shit. They would hate me. But at least I would know that people are actually getting to vote and, you know, everything's fucking straight up, dude. So Lamb, who has been in office since February 2023, has a large operation to oversee. There are 122 voting locations her office has to staff. 6 of those are voting centers, housed at each Lexington Public Library branch, where any Fayette County voter can cast a ballot. The others are locations for the city's 286 precincts, several of which share a voting location. To fully staff those sites, Lamb needs 995 election officers. All election officers volunteer to serve at polling locations and receive a $250 stipend for their work on election day. Officers who serve throughout early voting get a $470 stipend. I get it that you got a lot of responsibility, but do not take a job that you can't handle, for one. And two, I don't remember my second point. I had one, but I lost it. But yeah, just sorry. I mean, you knew what you were getting into. Take the responsibility. Don't bitch. I'm sorry. This isn't a normal job, by the way. This isn't like a job like I can start a new job, right? Like, I'll tell you a story. I started a new job at a factory. I've told this before. It was Creative Liquid Coatings. Went there. I was kind of tricked into going there. I put in my 2-week notice at Kroger. This was years ago. And it was like, oh, it's going to be more money, like $2 more money than what I'm making now. You know, it's like 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. Yeah, it just sounded like a better opportunity. No one told me that overtime was mandatory. And then the guy training me said, yeah, wait till overtime is mandatory whenever you're done with your training period. I said, what are you talking about? He said, oh, I haven't had a day off in 6 months. He had been working 7 days a week for 6 months straight. And I went, oh, okay. So I went out on break and I just got in my car and just fucking drove off. I'm like, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong. Look, you guys know me. I put in overtime. I'm a hardcore worker, but 6 months straight, no day off. That's fucking insane. I was like, I'm out. I'm out. See you guys later. I'm not a fucking slave, you know. So, but yeah, it's the voting thing. The point I was making though is like, you know what you're getting into. You know what you're signing up for. I didn't know I was signing up for that. But even at the end of the day, I'm not dealing with the constitutional republic. I'm not dealing with votes. I'm not dealing with the freedoms of Americans. I'm not dealing with the fate of America. I was just at some fucking factory making handles for cars. So I got the fuck out of there. But I knew what I was getting into, and I left. Well, I didn't fully know what I was getting into, but even then I just left, you know. I was just like, fuck this shit. I can't handle this shit. No, fuck that. So, Lamb, if you can't handle it, get out. Get out of the kitchen. If the fire's too hot, get out of the kitchen, dude. Lamb said she was short 57 election officers Tuesday. Most of those workers called out on Monday, and the rest either called out Tuesday morning or did not show up to their polling site at all. Nothing fishy about that. 57 election officers pulled shenanigans on Monday and Tuesday. 57 officers. There's nothing odd about that. No one thinks that's odd. Typically, the clerk's office has a list of alternates to call as backup support for situations like Tuesdays, but Lamb had to use all of those alternates just to fill vacancies that were popping up even before early voting began. Quote, we didn't have any alternatives, so we were punting, and we were having to double up positions. I mean, it was stressful, she said. Lamb says it's always a struggle to find enough workers for Election Day, but Tuesday's problems were quote-unquote extreme, meaning they were out of the ordinary. This is something different than how it normally is. This is a fluke. This is out of the ordinary. It's something strange. There must be an equal number of Democrats and Republicans serving as election officers. I agree with that. 2 officers from each party are paired for each task, whether that is signing in voters or voting sites or printing off ballots. Maintaining that balance is also a major challenge, Lamb said. Additionally, the phone lines at the clerk's office were busier than they had been in previous elections. Interesting. Phone jamming. Maybe. I don't know. There was a lot of issues with campaign signs being set out in major quantity, and we were having to deal with electioneering complaints and violations, she said. State and local laws prohibit candidates from placing campaign signs within 100 feet of polling locations, public rights of way, or any property where they do not have permission from the property owner to place the signs. Shenanigans, man. Why can't everyone just play fair? This is America. This is America. Lamb fears the widespread campaign sign violations could have intimidated both voters and election officers. To my knowledge, we didn't have anybody that didn't show up or decide not to because they were fearful, but I mean, there was a lot of intimidation going on at these polling places with all the election signs, and I'm sure that plays a part in it. Interesting. Staff in the office also received 5 calls from early voting through Tuesday from people who showed up to vote and learned they had already been removed from the voting rolls. We seen this happen during the Trump and Biden election. People were showing up to vote, and they know for a fact they didn't vote, and it was already saying that they had mailed in a ballot. By the way, I'm a local resident. I don't remember them even mailing in ballots for us to fucking vote, and I'm registered to vote. I was registered to vote for Massie. You know? I don't remember getting any paperwork. So, it's just crazy. It's just interesting. Let's see. Staff in the office also received 5 calls from earlier voting. Okay. So, it already said they had voted. Lamb said all of those people were affected by 2024's House Bill 44, which requires voters to be removed from state voter rolls if they are excused from jury duty for not being a U.S. citizen. Interesting. Those summoned for jury duty fill out a paper form where they must mark a box if they are not a U.S. citizen. Lamb said she was told 3 of the 5 people removed from the rolls were removed because of clerical error, quote unquote, regarding how those forms were processed. So, that means clerical error, whoever is like running shit, somebody with a desk job fucked up. And that's why the forms weren't processed. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Anytime a voter is disenfranchised, it's not acceptable to me, she said, because I don't want anybody ever to be denied their right to vote. Lamb would like to see the law amended to require the State Board of Elections, which oversees the statewide voter rolls, to retain a digital copy of those juror forms for some period of time so that errors leading to voters being erroneously removed from the rolls can be more quickly resolved. Wouldn't that be nice? Lamb said that on a whole, she's happy with how the May primary was handled. At the end of the night, we uploaded the election results, and I was very proud. We did it. And we had every V drive accounted for, and once they were populated, everything was 100% done. This whole thing sounds fishy as fuck. I wasn't even planning on to report on this today, but like I said, my wife gets free papers, and I was already reporting on how the whole Massie and Galrain thing seemed real fucking fishy. And then I seen this on the front page of the fucking paper. And I went, huh. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Are they fucking rigging local elections? I think so at this point. They've infiltrated everything. We're fucked. Sorry, no. I gotta leave you with some hope. Get into local politics. Go to your town meetings. Get into your local elections if you could be someone who makes sure that this shit is not getting rigged. We gotta start doing more. I'm trying my damnedest. I'm out here podcasting. I'm out here working 6 days a week. I think today I have to, or this week and last week, I've worked so many days on my days off. I think I'm going on like a 9-day stretch or a 10-day stretch. 10 days without a day off. 10 or 9 days. It's getting fucking crazy. So I can only do so much over here. I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And y'all have a good day.